Prime factorization, the ladder method. We are looking at examples of prime factorization using the ladder method. Let's find the prime factorization of the number 24. Start with the number 24 at the beginning of the ladder. Divide the number 24 by its smallest prime factor, which is 2. Write this on the left-hand side of the ladder. So 24 divided by 2 equals 12. Now repeat this process, and this time divide the number 12 by its smallest prime factor, which is 2. This time we get 6. Again, repeat the process. Divide the number 6 by its smallest prime factor, which is 2, and this gives us 3. Now divide 3 by its smallest prime factor, which is 3, and this gives us 1. Once we get to the number 1, we know we can stop. Now we need to write down the answer. 24 is the product of the following prime numbers. You take all of the numbers that you have been dividing by and multiply them together, which gives us 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. We then simplify this and it becomes 2 to the power 3 times 3. So the prime factorization of 24 is 2 to the power 3 times 3. Let's look at another example. Prime factorization of 60 using the ladder method. Start with 60 and divide it by its smallest prime factor, which is 2. This gives us 30. Repeat the process by dividing 30 by its smallest prime factor, which is 2, and this gives us 15. Again, repeat the process by dividing 15 by its smallest prime factor, which is 3, and this gives us 5. Once more, repeat the process by dividing 5 by its smallest prime factor, which is 5, and this gives us 1. So now we can stop and write down the answer. 60 is equal to all of the divisors multiplied together, which is 2 times 2 times 3 times 5, which is the same as 2 squared times 3 times 5. So the prime factorization of 60 is 2 squared times 3 times 5. Now, the ladder method becomes really useful when we are working with very large numbers. So let's work with an example of a large number. This time, let's find the prime factorization of 2,700. 2,700 divided by its smallest prime factor, which is 2, gives us 1,350. 1,350 divided by its smallest prime factor, which is 2, gives us 675. 675 divided by its smallest prime factor, which is 5, gives us 225. 225 divided by the smallest prime factor, which is 5, gives us 75. 75 divided by its smallest prime factor, which is 3, gives us 25. And 25 divided by its smallest prime factor, which is 5, gives us 5. Finally, 5 divided by its smallest prime factor gives us 1. We can now stop and write down the answer. So 2,700 equals to all of the divisors multiplied together, which is 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 5 times 5, which simplifies to 2 squared times 3 cubed times 5 squared, which means the prime factorization of 2,700 is 2 squared times 3 cubed times 5 squared. And that is prime factorization using the ladder method.